We bloody did it again. That is right. How good is it? Australia, our third UFC champion, joining our very soonly formed Mount Rushmore, or screw that, that's American. They can be the Australian emblems. They could be on our coins, joining Rob Whittaker and Alex Volkanovski as UFC champions. We have none other than JDM, Jack Della Maddalena, finally getting his shot and his chance to prove to the world just how bloody good he is, and proving his coach, the mystic Ben Vickers, who called it all the way back when Jack was winless as a professional, that not only would he be a champion, but that he would be a champion of the UFC. And I'll go into that very shortly, because there's some cool little stories and some little anecdotes that I kind of want to go into about the lead up. Now, if you don't know, my name is Mr. Tinley, host of the Australian MMA podcast, media outlet, whatever we are these days. And UFC 315 that happened in Montreal Sunday, the 11th of May here in Australia. I think it's the 10th of May in America. But what a bloody event. We're going to chat about it, whether you're listening on Spotify or on YouTube. Remember, give us a like, subscribe, chuck your comments, what you thought. I don't care what it is, just get in there. It's going to get good. Firstly, running through the results of the only ones that mattered to the Anzacs. Of course, we love New Zealand, and even though we're Australian MMA, we'll take New Zealand as far as we can as well. The protege, the LeBron James to the Israel Adesanya's Michael Jordan. Now, that is, I still stand by that. Let me tell you that. He might not have exploded the way I thought he would in the UFC, especially coming off his Contender Series knockout. I think his first two fights in the UFC, Navajo Sterling, have all been decision victories, but you could even tell in that fight that we just saw in Canada that he's getting better as he builds, that experience. He's getting those fights on that MMA record, and he's getting better with each round, with each opponent, and he's going to be bloody scary. So, first fight that we care about on the card, Navajo Sterling defeated Ivan Erslan by unanimous decision, 29-28, 29-28, 29-27. And by God, is Navajo Sterling, if you did not know how scary Navajo Sterling is, if you look at the man, he's had a hair transplant and nobody says anything because he'd kill you. Looks great, by the way. Navajo, I just think looked amazing against Erslan. He figured some stuff out and almost looked somewhat nervous at times, but look, very well could have got the finish near the end. There was a TKO opportunity. If the ref jumped in, I don't think anyone would have sort of protested it, but gets the decision, and that's okay. I think he is very much going to have the rise, and you can look back on this in 10 years' time, and I'll say I told you so. I think he's going to have a similar rise to Izzy, and although Izzy sort of burst onto the scene quickly, it's not like it was starching people. But look, I think Navajo Sterling is definitely one to watch, and I still stand by it. I think he will contend for a title, if not win one, within 5 years. So, remind me, calendar invite, come back. You can tell me if I'm wrong. Up next, the man of the moment, just Jack Della Maddalena. What you have done is brought another decade of UFC at the highest level to this country. Now, Rob Whittaker and Alex Volkanovski, amazing things. They've done amazing. They've put this sport on the map in this country, and everyone has acknowledged just how great we are. And we used to be pound for pound, one of the best countries in the world. We just very well might just be one of the best in the world. Take pound for pound out of it. We've got such good fighters at such high level, and the wave of guys that are coming is incredible. You've got, your Quillan Soutfields, your Cody Haddons, Tom Nolans, Jack Jenkins, and now obviously Jack Della as a champion. And even behind them, you've got your Harry Webbs and your George Mangosses. And, mate, it's going to be scary over the next 10 to 20 years. As the great Conor McGregor once said, we are not here to take part. We are clearly about to take over. And Jack Della just put an absolute stamp on that with his victory over Belal Muhammad. Now, decision victory in the main event, claiming the UFC welterweight title. The official judges 48-47, 48-47, and 49-46 for one Giacomo Jack Della Maddalena. It was a beautiful performance. Belal did what he said too. I mean, he did not shoot the way we thought he was going to shoot, and he sort of stood and banged a bit with our boy Jack, but nobody does it better than our back Jack Della. And yeah, it almost made me emotional watching it. I'm not going to go into it too much technically, but it means a lot to me, and it means a lot to not just Australia, but me as a Perth-based man. For those who don't know the show of the Australian MMA podcast, I once upon a time was the ring announcer for Eternal MMA, and I met Jack in 2016. I bumped into him backstage, and he was a very kind, young, early 20-year-old. What's he now, 27? Maybe 28, if that. Absolute start of a guy, really, really nice. I think he was 1-2 at the time. And after he said hello to me, it was my first ever ring announcing event for Eternal MMA, and he walked off with his brother. Ben Vickers, who I'd just met that time as well, said to me that young man will be a world champion one day. And I said, I don't know if you guys seen the clips. It's on the Instagram page. I'll reshare it as well. But he said to me he'll be a world champion. And I said, world champion of where? And he said, the UFC. And I was like, oh, wow, really? That man was 1-2. Think about that. 1-2 in Perth, who I think their only UFC fighter at the time, back in 2016, would have been Stephen Kennedy, who ended up being 0-2 in the UFC and then quickly left. So the fact that the Ben Vickers had that much sort of confidence in him, and in Australia, I don't even think Rob Whittaker was the champion. Maybe he was, but no, I don't think he was. And Volk, was not either. So to have that much confidence and sort of to get behind that man is honestly, it's pretty special, and it transitions well into sort of the guy I feel the most for, and I fucking love Jack, right? I really do. I love him more than anything. He's a guy that will give people that do not deserve his time, he will give them time out of his busy day. He will stop and have chats to you, and it doesn't matter how big he gets, he will remember the same guy that high-fived him when he was 0-2 as he is now when he's a world champion. He's just that type of guy. And he's very humble, family man, just disciplined, just great dude, right? But everyone's going to love him. Everyone's going to high-five him. Everyone's going to hug him. He's going to be fine. The guy I want to sort of highlight the most is a man that I've had a tricky relationship with at times, but I've always sort of deemed a friend, and we've always respected each other like nothing else. And that is one of the co-owners of Eternal MMA and Jack Della's head coach, none other than Ben Vickers. Now, that man has just given his life for Jack. Don't get me wrong, why wouldn't you? But Ben saw it before anyone else. I mean, you could always tell Jack was special, but Ben was willing to bet it all on him, and he bloody did. He is essentially built a team around Jack. Now, I know Scrap MMA, there's a lot of other guys, and I'll go through some of the other guys training alongside with him and just how special they all are. And look, it's a very collaborative gym and whatnot, but what Ben has done to sort of build this path and lay it all out for Jack, and that includes, Eternal MMA and whatnot to get Jack to this next level. It's special. He will get zero props for it. No one will pat him on the back. He is a fighter Ben was a fighter as well, but you know, he didn't have that sort of braggable career like some other coaches do, and heaps of people told Jack to sort of train with someone else in the early days and kind of can Ben get you to the next level, and a testament to Jack Della's loyalty, and he's one of the most loyal guys out there. The fact that he stayed with Ben, and I'll tell you, as someone that knows Ben as well, there's a reason why he doubled down on Mr. Vickers. And it's proven dividends. So I think Ben Vickers, and I implore you guys to sort of go listen to Ben Vickers' interview. He actually did a really good one in the lead up with young Joel out of Southern Cross Combat, where you really get to dive into the mind. Look at my previous ones with Ben Vickers. He is a guy that doesn't like the spotlight, but was weirdly made for it. He's got a way to articulate the vision that he has and the problem-solving ability that he has. And he will be the first person to tell you that he is not the reason why Jack Della is champion. And fight! A lot of people have said it before that, hey, maybe you put Jack Della with anyone and maybe he'd still become world champion. That's how special Jack is. I call bullshit. I think Ben Vickers is an integral part of why we are looking at the future of Australian MMA, the future of MMA in general, in the one and only Jack Della. And the team that Ben Vickers has built in Scrap MMA is something special. A lot of these guys, his main training partners, have come from other gyms that weren't necessarily sort of maybe looked after the best, or they wanted something else, or they just sort of wanted to come together. And Ben's not a guy that is like, this is how you do it. I'm going to tell you how to train. I'm going to tell you how to be a world champion. And even now he has a world champion. He still will not do that. He will take a very collaborative approach. And he is the ultimate MMA. You got MMA managers. He's like an MMA general manager. The way that he sort of can bring the right people and bring everyone in and get the best out of them. And the amount of managing egos, and even in his co-promoting, he manages one of the best ones. The way that Ben Vickers can manage egos is incredible. Look at the team around Jack Della. They're not just teammates and whatnot. They're friends. So, look, big shout out to Benny Vickers, and of course all the boys at Scrap MMA. Of course, you got his brother Josh Della, who I don't think you guys even realize, you know, back when Jack and Josh were coming up, everyone thought Josh Della was going to be the man. He was the king of Perth. And I think it's really special that he got to get out there for that fight and be in the corner and be in that moment, because there's always a brother or a teammate that sort of takes sort of the backward step. The Ilia Topuria situation, where his brother almost said like, oh, I gave up on my career to sort of, I knew my brother was special, so I took a step back to sort of coach him, to sort of put it all behind him so he could be a world champion. There's no different with Josh. Josh Della is one of the most selfless guys you'll ever meet. He's a fucking hilarious commentator too. He's one of the most fun guys. But he has put it all behind Jack. You got guys like Ryan Gray, who've been around since day dot, former Australian MMA champion, and had to sort of call time on his career as well because of like injuries, but he got behind him. The likes of Jack Becker, Rod Costa, even getting, you know, certain guys like Craig Jones come along and sort of dig deep. But it's those other guys, those shout out to, you know, former Eternal MMA ring announcer, or still ring announcer, like guys like Blake Richardson, Wyatt Fraser, Lawrence Whitesmith, like the amount of guys and names, and all these names will mean nothing to you, and that's fine, and they're not supposed to. But what I'm saying is, like, I can say it from almost first hand. You see a champion, like maybe a Drickus, right? Wins the belt. Maybe his coach gets a little bit of shine. But you don't know anything about his teammates, nor should you. Because that's the whole point of this, is that the champion is the top of the pyramid. That's Jack Della. That's what we look at. But the base is long and wide and solid, and it's been there for years. And that's what scrappy MMA is. And I think they've done a tremendous job. Even on the other side of it, their managers, chosen advisory, Dan Maudsley, Tim Simpson, they are as Australian as it gets. So I think it's a beautiful sort of story. Those boys as well gone out on their own, and look at the champion factory they've got. And, they've handled everyone, and they've even got more guys coming up in George Mangos and Harry Webb, and they deal with superstars in Tai Tuivasa. They deal with Israel Adesanya. They deal with the highest level, and they said, yep, Jack's our guy. And they went all in on Jack Della. I think it's special, the team around him. And I won't spend too much time on it because I don't think he would want me to. But even his partner Michelle, like, it's just from like day one. I think they met when they were like in different wombs, and their mums walked past each other and their bellies sort of accidentally like touched each other, and that's how they met. Like, that's how long they've known each other, like since they were like kids, and they're like childhood sweethearts. And it's like the proper day one stuff where she sticks by him and believes in his dream and believes in him, and he believes in them, and he treats her the right way and takes her with him, and his whole family, his brother, his dad, they're just great people. It genuinely makes me so fucking emotional. And I know that I'm biased. I know. But it's a great day for not just Australian MMA, not just MMA in general, but just Australia. Jack Della epitomizes what the world loves about this country. Just a humble, hard-working, dream-chasing red nut. He's just the best, man. It's such a great time. And guys, it sets us up for this. Look, we'll go back to the actual sport, but it sets us up for what is going to be without a doubt, the biggest fight in Australian combat history. It might even be the biggest moment, once again, very biased, but it could very well be the biggest moment in Australian sport. Now, there were rumours heading in, and very, very strong rumours, with if Jack Della won, that it was going to be a UFC pay-per-view in Perth in September. If he lost, it was going to continue to be a UFC fight night in July. Now, pretty strong sources don't know where that is at, right? But he's won, right? And even Dana said, if Jack Della wins, his next opponent will be Islam Makhachev, who is coming up as the lightweight champion to fight for the welterweight championship. Now, Islam Makhachev, if you don't know, took out our boy in the rematch, and of course at the fight in Perth, where our boy Alex Volkanovski, the UFC featherweight champion at the time, and then obviously got his belt back, tried to battle back and become a double champ and take out Islam Makhachev in Perth. He came this close. And then in the rematch, he got head kicked and that dream was gone. And in the most poetic way possible, we get to see Jack Della potentially take on Islam Makhachev in his first ever UFC welterweight championship defense at RAC Arena in Perth and avenge our GOAT, Alex the Great Volkanovski, so that Jack Della could actually potentially become, ironically, the greatest. I don't know. Maybe it's hyperbole. Maybe I'm talking shit. Maybe I had too many beers at the pub before I recorded this. But guys, what a time. What a time to be alive. What a time to love this sport. If you're not Australian, pay attention to the Australian MMA regional scene. We are honestly, I reckon, the best in the world. Not pound for pound. Our regional fighters, I would put our top 5 against any top 5. You could send your 5 to Dagestan for 2-3 years and forget. And when you come back, you would still not beat our top 5. Ladies and gentlemen, great day for the sport. Like, subscribe. Let me know what you thought. I'm going to go have a rest, have a lay down. I'll see you next time.